UNC women's basketball is making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The latest on the allegations against coach Sylvia Hatchell.
Well, there's news happening, but there's no one to cover it. We'll show you how many areas of North Carolina have turned into news deserts.
And before they walk across the graduation stage, they walk up the bell tower. We'll check in with seniors who are taking part in this iconic Carolina tradition.
From the UNC School of Media and Journalism, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
A UNC Hall of Fame coach is sidelined. Good afternoon, I'm Emily Wakeman.
And I'm Madison Forsey. The Carolina women's basketball scandal is our top story this afternoon. Head coach Sylvia Hatchell remains on administrative leave for allegedly making racially insensitive remarks. Reporter Sam Jordan joins us live from Carmichael Arena to tell us more. Sam.
Madison, this past season, things ended with optimism for the team, but in the past couple weeks, things have come crashing down. Hatchell's suspension has led 4 players to pursue transfers away from UNC, and more could still follow. It's possible that we're seeing the end of an era that stretches back to Hatchell's first season in Chapel Hill in 1986. More than 1,000 wins, 3 Final Fours, and a national championship. Sylvia Hatchell has achieved more than just about anyone in women's basketball. The 4th winningest women's coach of all time, she's become synonymous with the UNC program. That's why it was so shocking last Monday when the school announced she'd be put on leave due to issues raised by student athletes. David Glenn hosts the most popular sports radio show in North Carolina, and he says that Hatchell's coaching style might ruffle more feathers today than it did in the past.
As somebody who has known Sylvia Hatchell since the 1980s, 20 or 30 years ago, you could have a coach with a certain approach, and some players would like it, some other players would not, but it would never rise to this level.
The specifics still aren't very clear, but it was enough to make UNC launch a review of the entire program. Several former players have spoken out about the controversy, including 2009 grad Rashonda McCants. McCants defended Hatchell in an Instagram post, saying she had never ever been verbally attacked or defamed by her or any of her staff, adding that Hatchell may not keep her job but should be able to keep her integrity. Glenn echoed this statement, saying the investigation won't affect Hatchell's image to those that know her personally.
I think the sports fan is waiting to see if there's going to be a blemish on her resume for the reasons that they're exploring right now, whereas those who have connected with Sylvia Hatchell more as a person than as a sports fan, I think that legacy is secure.
As of right now, there's been no indication from the school as to how long the review will take. Hatchell has been silent on the issue, except for a brief statement saying she loves all of her players, past and present, and will cooperate fully with the investigation. There's no doubt how important Hatchell has been to the team's success over the last 33 years, but her future as a head coach is in doubt, just like the future of the program that she helped build. In Carmichael Arena, I'm Sam Jordan for Carolina Week.
The university has just sent out an email to students, faculty, and staff alerting them about anti-Semitic posters found on bookshelves and tables inside of Davis Library. UNC police are investigating the incident, and they ask you to call 911 if you have any information about the case.
UNC police have arrested 2 people in connection with the vandalism of a campus monument to African Americans who helped build the campus. Now authorities say the 2 could also be responsible for another act of vandalism. Reporter Shondell Moniz has the latest.
It all started right here last week when the Unsung Founders Memorial was vandalized. The criminals defaced this monument dedicated to the people of color who helped build this university with racial slurs and their own urine, but they did not stop there. Just hours later, motorists reported a Confederate flag flying over the UNC system office on Raleigh Road, and the flag that it replaced was nowhere to be found. Now, police say they have arrested the 2 people responsible for vandalizing this monument and also stealing the flag. Their names are Nancy McCorkle and Ryan Barnett. Their charges include vandalism, ethnic intimidation, and public urination, all of which are misdemeanor charges. I also got to speak with UNC spokesperson Jason Tyson, and he told me that the system flag is still missing. It has been more than a week at this point, and the flag is valued at about $600. So we're still searching for the flag, and we're also still searching for answers as to why this crime occurred. As always, as we get those details, we will deliver them to you. But for now, in Chapel Hill, I'm Shondell Moniz, Carolina Week.
UNC police say the 2 people arrested are connected to a group called Heirs to the Confederacy.
UNC is left in the dark for a second time this week. Power went out at many buildings across campus last Thursday, and again this week, many took to social media to document the outages, including those in Davis Library and Lenore Dining Hall. Duke Energy says a lightning strike is responsible for tripping a circuit at the Cameron Electrical Substation. They say the problem should now be fixed.
The father of 2 murdered UNC students is urging lawmakers to do more to prevent hate crimes. Dr. Muhammad Abu Saleh lost his 2 daughters and son-in-law in 2015 after a neighbor in their off-campus housing complex shot them. Abu Saleh spoke to the House Judiciary Committee on Tuesday at a hearing about white nationalism and hate crimes. He drew visibly emotional reactions from the committee as he described arriving to the scene of his family members' murders. He asked members to take action.
And I ask you, I truly plead to you, not to let another American family go through this because our government would not act to protect all Americans. Please remember them, Yusur, Dia, and Razan. They are my children, and they are gone.
4 years later, the man accused of murdering the 3 students is still awaiting trial.
UNC women have made history by organizing the first ever Women's March on campus. Reporter Melissa Raidmaker takes us there.
UNC senior and Delta Sigma Theta member Jordan Young decided to organize a UNC Women's March when conversations in her sorority made her see a need for female support and visibility on campus.
A couple months ago, there was an event on campus that involved sexual misconduct, and me and my sister started talking, realizing this happens to a lot of us and it happens all the time.
Keandra Jenkins helped organize the march and agrees that women in college experience a lot during their time on campus.
Being a woman means something, but being a woman on a college campus looks completely different than in any other environment.
Young and Jenkins reached out to programs including sororities, nonprofits, clubs, and businesses that include women to participate. Their goal for the march was to create a visible female community.
And we don't have an event like this where women can come together from different pockets of the campus and support each other in ways that we don't always have a chance to do every day.
About 60 participants started at the Bell Tower Amphitheater, marched past Keenan Stadium, through the pit and quad, and back to the Bell Tower. There, representatives from Fight for Her and the Compass Center provided resources and information about their services for women.
I think that the first thing to making anything better is kind of just creating a space for people to talk. So I was really excited that so many different areas of campus are represented, so many different identities.
Participants hope the march will serve as a first step towards a more supportive community on campus. In Chapel Hill, I'm Melissa Rademacher reporting.
Organizers say they'd like to make the Women's March an annual event.
Coming up, many communities in our state are turning into news deserts.
We'll show you what one small town paper is doing to keep the news coming.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter, male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers, we have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
The rise of the internet and smartphones has been the fall for many local newspapers.
It's a problem facing areas across our state. They're becoming what's called news deserts, and I visited a small town paper that's trying to find new ways to stay alive and keep covering the community.
How do you get your news? More and more people are ditching newspapers and turning to their phones. The number of papers in weekly circulation between 2007 and 2017 dropped by more than 19 million. As those newspapers go out of business, that area becomes what's called a news desert, and not having that paper can be detrimental to a small community.
If you look at what the information that a community needs, the newspaper has historically been best suited to provide the individualized information that you may need in that community.
But with all the doom and gloom, Abernathy said one local paper is doing what it takes to evolve in the 21st century. The Whiteville News Reporter. This family-owned paper in a little town on your way to the beach is a vital part of the community. But a few years ago, the owners of the Pulitzer Prize-winning paper realized the family business might come to an end unless something changed.
My family made a decision a long time ago that we were not going to be a part of a crappy newspaper, and we didn't feel like our community deserved a crappy newspaper. And so we're in what I would call our Hail Mary phase.
As more people read online and fewer people buy papers, a newspaper's biggest source of revenue, print advertising, declines.
In our older society that we have in a rural county like ours, when someone died as a reader, we weren't getting them back. So that's where we had an erosion of subscriptions and circulation.
This decline caused them to think of other ways to keep the news reporter alive. One of those ways is charging people to look at articles on their website through what's called a metered paywall.
We have so many people from all over the country getting our news for free right now. That is just revenue going out the door right now where we could be capturing it.
Along with charging for digital content, the news reporter is trying to emphasize social media.
If there's a county commissioners meeting or a town council meeting, we understand now that we have to get a story up that night.
The news reporter also created a digital ad agency and a new magazine to bring in additional revenue.
So I think with the people we have in place and the new initiatives we have in place, it's allowing us to be a little bit more fluid, try new things. If they work, great.
Despite the challenges using Abernathy's News Desert research, the news reporter continues to stay open, unlike many other local papers.
My family, has made it an obligation to have a good newspaper, to have a good website, and whatever form that might be, however people get their news, we're committed to see that happen.
According to Abernathy's study of news deserts, North Carolina has 6 counties without any kind of local news coverage. They're Northampton, Gates, Camden, Currituck, Jones, and Hyde counties.
$6.1 million. That's how much UNC brought in as part of Giving Tuesday. Nearly 6,000 people donated to the annual fundraising campaign. The money will go to the specific programs of the donor's choice.
You might have seen the white tents lining Cameron Avenue. The annual UNC Science Expo promotes STEM outreach to children. STEM students, professors, and researchers of UNC Chapel Hill and surrounding areas spent their Saturday spreading knowledge of what they love the most, science. Hands-on activities gave kids the opportunity to learn about science and technology.
Some Carolina seniors got to showcase their senior theses in a different way.
On her face, a voiceless expression, a veil. By night, the wind is howling.
Students in the Honors Poetry Creative Writing Program gathered in front of friends and family in Graham Memorial Tuesday night. They each had a few minutes to read lines of poetry from their honors theses. Professor Michael McPhee says he's proud of all that his students have accomplished.
Each of them wrote 1,000 lines of poetry, revised those lines, organized it into a finished manuscript collection thesis of poetry. To do that these days, when students are so busy and doing so many things, to me is astonishing.
Another group of creative writing seniors will present their poetry on Tuesday in Graham Memorial.
As seniors prepare to graduate, they're also checking important social items off their list. Reporter Logan Castrodale joins us live to tell us more about Senior Week. Logan.
Seniors, this is your week to celebrate your last year at Carolina. Beginning on Sunday and continuing throughout this week, seniors are invited to attend a wide range of events. Let's take a look. On Sunday, students celebrated their accomplishments with family at the official class ring ceremony. On Monday, seniors gathered and had a night under the stars with a private planetarium show. Last night, the Chapel Hill Staples stayed open late just for seniors to grab a bite to eat with friends. And always a hit today, students are reaching new heights with the annual Bell Tower climb. To finish off the week, seniors got a piece or two of advice from Dr. Brian Hogan, director of Carolina Covenant, for their last lecture. With this special week, seniors can take in a few more memories before turning the tassel.
Thanks, Logan. This is actually a pretty great week weather-wise for senior activities.
I know, I can't wait to get out there myself. So what does the rest of the week have in store? Let's go to our reporter Haley Boland with our forecast.
Happy Senior Week, Tar Heels. Now, if you're a senior, this is your week to celebrate your time here at Carolina. So whether you're waiting in line to climb the bell tower, planning on attending a Senior Week event, or soaking up your last moments here on the quad, you'll probably be outside at some point during the week. So let's take a look at the weather for the next 5 days. Today is a beautiful spring day. It is sunny and 75, so you're going to want to be sure to come outside and enjoy that. Thursday is similarly as beautiful with a high of 76. But as we head into Friday and the weekend, we are looking at some April showers. Friday brings with it a 40% chance of rain and a high of 74. Now that chance continues into Saturday with also a 40% chance of rain, but also thunderstorms. Now Saturday has a high of 77. That chance of rain increases into Sunday with a high of 78. So you're going to want to make sure that you're prepared with your rain jacket or your umbrella all weekend. Now, please enjoy this next day or so of nice weather, and seniors, please don't let this rain on your parade. That's all I've got for you for Carolina Week weather. I'm Haley Boland.
Coming up, spring football is in the air. Will the start of the Mack Brown era begin with a bang?
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Keaton Eberly. Guess what, Tar Heel fans? Springtime is in the air. And you know what else is? And no, believe it or not, I'm not talking about pollen for once. I'm talking about energy, excitement, a resurgence for a whole new era of UNC football. And it all starts this weekend. Just 4 months ago, Mack Brown decided to come back to Chapel Hill as UNC's new football coach, and the Carolina faithful seemed reinvigorated with catchy phrases such as hashtag return of the Mack, or even hashtag Mack is back, spreading across like wildfire on social media. As anticipation continues to build, the annual spring game on Saturday afternoon will give the Carolina faithful a glimpse into the future as Brown prepares to begin his second stint with the Tar Heels. Since the beginning of the spring, Brown and his entire coaching staff have been hard at work, trying to get their players to adapt to a whole new system with lots of changes on both sides of the ball. Although there's massive buzz surrounding Brown's return to the UNC sideline, change isn't going to happen overnight. This team's going to deal with a steep learning curve early on, and it's definitely going to take some time for this group to get up to speed. And as Mack has often pointed out, the fans are going to have to do their part starting this Saturday at the spring game.
We need a big crowd at the spring game simply to send the message to recruits and to our players that it's going to be really important to play well in the fall. and I want our fans to get excited about coming back out for football. We need Kenan Stadium full.
Game time is 5 p.m. on Saturday, and it's our first glimpse of the Mac Attack. After dropping back-to-back games against Georgia Tech, the UNC baseball team looked to bounce back Monday against UNC Greensboro. The Tar Heels got off to a blistering start with Aaron Sabato hitting this 2-run double. Just minutes later, Dylan Illingler blasted a 3-run triple off his own to left field. That gave Carolina a 9-0 lead in just the second inning. And unfortunately for the Spartans, Carolina's offense wasn't done. UNC put 6 more runs on the board in the third inning with an RBI double from Sabato, followed by 3 straight singles to make the score 15-2. A pair of sacrifice flies in the 6th made it 17-2, and from there, the Diamond Heels cruised to a commanding win. Final score at Boshamer Stadium, 17-4. Looking to continue in dominating fashion in Anderson Stadium, the softball team hosted Coastal Carolina on Tuesday. The Heels rallied with 2 outs in the first inning, with Brittany Pickett hammering this pitch out of the park, putting the Heels up 3-0. Coastal Carolina can't get on the board with Pickett on the mound. Is there anything she's not good at? In the bottom of the second, Christina Burkhardt finds her pitch and sends it out to the stadium. Heels go up 7-0. UNC goes on to score 9 runs in the first 3 innings, and Coastal Carolina fails to answer. The Heels pick up their 4th consecutive run rule shutout with this double play in the top of the 5th. They improved to 23-13 and look to build on their winning streak tonight, hosting Liberty at 6. The UNC women's golf team entered the 3rd and final round of the Brickyard Collegiate Tide for 4th place on Tuesday morning. But in the words of Christopher Robin, tut-tut, looks like rain. In what ended up being a shortened 36-hole tournament due to hazardous weather conditions, the Tar Heels stayed at their 4th place position. Mariana Okano placed the highest among her teammates, finishing in 7th place with a combined 2-run round score of 1 under par. The Heels will return to the course on April 18th at the ACC Championships at Sedgefield Country Club in Greensboro. That's all for Carolina Week Sports. Be sure to check out Sports Extra on Monday at 4 for even more coverage of North Carolina athletics.
And coming up, they're going straight to the top.
The Carolina tradition on every senior's graduation bucket list.
Label me.
You know you want to.
Don't be shy.
You do it behind my back.
So say it to my face.
You don't know me.
You know what I am?
I'm a pitcher.
I'm a striker.
I'm a point guard.
I'm a linebacker.
I'm a setter. Shortstop. High jumper.
Wrestler.
Defender.
Goalie.
Student.
Student athletes.
That's who we are.
Well, it's a senior rite of passage.
It sure is. Climbing the bell tower is one of those things seniors want to do before they leave Carolina. Reporter Ryan Campbell joined the crowd of students waiting for their turn to take part in this UNC tradition.
Just 2 months ago, the bell tower was torn up and there wasn't a soul in sight. But things looked a bit different today. Students lined up around the bell tower this morning for their chance to make the annual senior climb. And some arrived earlier than others.
We got here at 6 a.m. this morning.
Why?
We heard that in the past people camp out really early and we didn't want to pay for a fast pass.
But if they donated to the General Alumni Association and got a fast pass,
I only got here about 10 minutes ago, so like 8:50-ish.
wait times varied. But the journeys were alike as seniors made their way into the bell tower, climbing up each of the 128 steps and making their lasting mark by signing a brick. With their autographs penned, students went outside to get a new view of their beloved campus, and some took advantage of a unique photo op. For Will Young, the experience was worth the wait.
You know, we've been hearing this thing ding and dong the last 4 years, and it's a cool part of UNC's campus, and so it was cool going up and seeing what it was like.
Some students likely are still waiting their turn, but once they make their way out, they can say the same as the early birds. I climbed the bell tower. From Chapel Hill, I'm Ryan Campbell, Carolina Week.
So I was out there this morning, obviously climbing the bell tower, but I had a fast pass, so it made my life a little bit easier. I got to the top probably in about 15 minutes, but the same cannot be said for other people.
I was about to say, I made the mistake of not getting the fast pass, stood there for an hour and never made it up. So that's that, maybe next time. That's gonna do it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you so much for watching and have a great night.